Hi there, my name's Alaric and I'm a product manager here at More. Today I'll be taking you through the new My Financials area of the More web app. Together on the platform, we'll explore some of the key changes that are happening within the platform, as well as how to navigate the new areas in terms of the new card tray, the new My Financials, and what are the key changes between the old and the new version. To get started, I'm going to take you through the My Financials area of the More web app, some of the key changes that have happened in the platform, as well as some of the future things you might expect to see on the More web app, as well as the mobile app. So to begin with, what is My Financials? So historically in the More platform, you would have had an area to enter in your financial information. What we've done is we've culminated all of this information into the separate My Financials area, where you can easily find, track, modify, and edit to your heart's content all of the financial data in your household. So I'll just quickly start sharing my screen from here to take you through a little bit of it. And from here, what you can see is essentially the new My Financials area. Now, this is basically shown through a couple of key tabs. You've got the tab down the bottom of the page, which is called Cards, as well as the My Financials tab on the left. And what you'll see is this has actually replaced the previous Financials tab, which is basically a long form way of entering your data into the platform. Now, one of the key reasons why we've done this is we've essentially started putting all of this information into this central location so that you can find your information a lot easier in terms of, if there is a particular entry that you're looking to record, for example, an income, an expense, an asset, or a borrowing, you can find all of this in a single one page rather than having to navigate through multiple pages. So to give you a really brief sort of glimpse as to what's changed between the past and the future and how it looks. So as you can see on the old layout, we've got your income, assets, expenses, and borrowings split up into 4 separate pages. Whereas on the new version, we've now combined them all into the single card tray, your income, expenses, assets, and borrowing information, which is going to be accessible on every single page of the More platform. How this plays in the future is essentially we'll be adding in additional insights, additional dashboards, such as the Wealth Dashboard, a Money Smarts Dashboard, a Property Dashboard perhaps, where you'll be able to see the live changes happening as you're making changes to your information. So what I've got here is the exact same profile in the old format. Here we're looking at the borrowings page, and here we're looking at the borrowing information for a single loan. So you can see in this particular view, you've got all of the information listed down in a form, and basically a long form way of capturing information. What we've now done is we've now moved that one entry into one of the single cards over here, which means it's much more easier for you to find this information, as well as much easier for you to find and navigate through the details of this particular card once you've got the details entered in. In the future, we'll be adding in multiple tabs along the top to give you additional powerful features such as insights directly into this card, where you'll be able to start tracking the historical values of the card, so how this particular card has performed, as well as potentially tracking individual transactions. So you'll be able to start comparing your actuals to your budgeted amounts. On the card tray as well, you'll see that at the very top, we've got various sort and filter functionalities. Now, I'll just point out that this won't be available immediately on launch, but it will be coming very, very soon in the space of a few weeks, where you'll be able to further filter down, sort, and search all of your financial information, which makes it much, much, much easier to navigate and find out what's happening in your household finances. So to go through some of the key functionality for this new My Financials card view and how to enter new information, I'll just be quickly taking you through how to add a new card. So as an example, at the very top of the card tray, which is again accessible on every single page of the platform, you'll be able to see the add a new card. From here, you'll select your financial classification for either an income, asset, or expense or borrowing, depending on what you want to add in. And let's say, for example, I wanted to add a new property because we've just made a new purchase. So I'll go through, I'll select the property from the list over here. I'll hit create, and voila, I've got my new property card. So from here, a couple of key things. I'll be wanting to call this my new property, and let's just make up a few numbers over here. Let's just say it was an investment property that we just purchased. So what you can see here as well is by selecting an investment property, I've now created a few additional fields to start recording things such as my rental income, as well as any sort of ongoing property costs that are directly associated with the property. So again, part of the power of the new My Financials area is you're now able to see, navigate, and find all the information in relation to this particular property asset directly within the card itself. So if I wanted to add in a few expenses as an example, let's call them management fees. And we'll call that $300 monthly. And we'll save that card directly in. So what you see here is it's actually gone ahead and created a new expense card for me. It's linked directly to this card so I can find it quite easily. And we'll finish entering a few. One other feature we've also added here is the ability for information to automatically save. So what you'll find is as you're going through and entering your information, there's no need to worry about data being lost in the past, because as you're entering the information, the moment I finish entering this particular field in, you'll see a nice little saving icon come up in the bottom right and your data is automatically saved. So that's how to create a card. So one of the main reasons that we've moved to this financial cards card tray and this card area, on top of being a much better way for you to navigate and find your financial information, is we did receive a lot of feedback from our existing more users that they wanted to be able to track their information historically. They wanted to be able to see the financial performance of their household over time. Now, what we did realize over there is that there's a lot of information that needs to be captured, and this would be the best way to do it in the most concise manner. In an upcoming release in the new year, the 2024 new year, we'll be releasing an update which allows you to track all of the most relevant information historically, such as your income values, your value of the property that you have, just so that you'll be able to see the true historical performance of your financial situation over time, as well as potentially have the power to make certain decisions based on this financial situation that you're seeing, or this financial view, insight, or dashboard. So because historical tracking is so important, what we've done is we've allowed people to basically set certain records in their profile as archived. In this sense, what we're doing is we're allowing you to create a profile of a card that has historical tracking in the past, but is deemed no longer relevant from this particular point onwards. So let's say, for example, over here, I've got 2 PAYG incomes. And let's say I no longer work at this particular location. So what I might want to do over here is I'll just head over to the top right. I'll hit the 3 dots over there for more options, and then I'll hit the archive button. From here, I'll be able to set a specific archive date where this card is no longer relevant. Now, let's just say it's from today. We'll just go ahead and archive it from today. So what you'll see immediately over here is that this card is now archived. It's now moved away from this particular area over here, and it's moved to a separate archived card. Now, another way to consider this or to think about this is that this is now a previous record or a previous financial record that's no longer relevant to my current situation. Heading back over to the dashboard, you'll also see that the income's now been modified and that income's no longer there. So as I mentioned, in the new year, we'll be releasing an update, a very significant update, where we'll be introducing the ability for you to track your information historically. So let's say, for example, you've got this archive card over here, and it's presenting, $93,000 back from whenever you started this particular job. Let's say it's from 3 years ago, and you no longer want to see that as part of your overall historical insights. So you might want to delete it. It's quite simple to delete a card. All you need to do is you need to head over to the archive card. Again, in the more options, you'll now have the ability to delete or restore it. From here, I can go ahead and just permanently delete this card. Now, doing this essentially removes all records of this particular card, meaning that if I had historical totals, historical insights in the past, they will no longer include all of the information contained here. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this brief overview of the My Financials area in the More web app. There's a lot more to come in the new calendar year. In only a couple months' time, we'll be releasing a lot more exciting features, such as our historical tracking and insights. So please get in there, check out your information, check out the new changes, and if you need any help, please feel free to reach out to us at www.more.com.au.